The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Whether you're new to sales or a lifetime veteran, the Blackbelt Sales Podcast will sharpen your sword and guide you to master the art of sales. And now, here's your host, the ninja himself, Gene Slade.
Welcome back, ninjas. I have got some really special stuff for you today. Hey, if you are joining me live right now, will you please do me a favor and just put live down in the comments? If you're watching on a replay, please put replay in the comments. Guys, we spend a lot of time and energy and effort and money bringing you solutions for problems that you're having in your business or in your career every single day. And this is all that we ask for, is that you just put live or replay down in the comments. I'm going to have some more questions for you coming up. We're going to be talking today about the best recruiting practices and hiring practices that are available out there. And we're also going to debunk some myths. I've got some questions for you about things that you may or may know or may think that you know. Sometimes it's what we don't know that we don't know that gets us, isn't it? Before we do that, I got to pay a couple bills real quick, and I'm just going to roll a quick video for you about a special event that we've got coming up. It's probably going to be the only one that I do in the next 6 months. So, and that's because we're so focused on our new conversational AI product that is answering telephone calls for you, that's making outbound calls to you. It'll be doing sales follow-ups and gathering reviews, and it is absolutely freaking phenomenal. So we're shifting our focus just a little bit at Lead Ninja. And so I can't promise that we'll do another one of these for probably another 6 months. So if you want to get your guys trained up, if you're sick and tired of the zero tickets, if you're sick and tired of low closing ratios, if you're sick and tired of getting the I want to think about it objection or your technicians burning leads, you're going to want to check this out. And then I'm going to be right back with a gentleman named Paul Sanneman, and he's going to show you exactly what you need to do as we're going into some of more difficult times that some of you have seen to get your recruiting right. All right, so check this out real quick. We'll be right back.
I'm Jonah Gorlitz. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. I've been doing HVAC for about 1.5, 2 years now, and I work for Instant Air out of Shepherdsville, Kentucky.
Hi, I'm Kim Kay. I work with Leads Nearby, and I've been working with Leads Nearby for over 8 years, and we work with HVAC, electrical, and plumbing contractors.
So my name is Chris Laurentino from Comfort Specialists. We're out of Morris County, New Jersey. I've been in the industry about 17 years now.
I joined the mastermind because it's not just a sales course. Actually, it's not really a sales course at all.
So the reason I joined the mastermind is I've seen some people's results online that
This is different from other events that I've been to. I've been to various contractor events for quite a few years now.
It's really taught me how to understand and communicate to the customer well. It's actually my second mansion trip.
from the community of how well some people have done, and I really wanted to be a part of that.
This one is the best space. It's the most glamorous space. And it's basically one training that built upon each other.
Share in that success. And I felt that the best way to achieve that was to actually get here and get involved in the training. And frankly, in my mind, there's no better way to train than in person.
Since I've been in the classroom for December, my income has improved, my revenue for the company has improved, my customer relations have improved, and my call volume has decreased while the profits and everything else has increased.
Being here is a unique experience that you can't replicate in just a Zoom class. There's so much more that you get out of this.
And the other events I've been to, it's a lot of information on a lot of topics where this is very concentrated. I feel like it allows you to have more focus.
Thanks for sticking with us. That's going to be happening on March 24th through the 28th. That's a Wednesday through a Sunday, Wednesday night through Sunday morning. You guys are going to want to come check us out. We've got a standing guarantee that if you don't feel like it's worth your investment after the first day, you don't have to pay. We'll give you your money back and you can take off. That being said, let me introduce Paul Sanneman. I wish we had some of the effects in the background. We need to get some of those, Brittany. So,
pom-poms. Woohoo! Yay, we're here. All right. It's all good.
Paul is the founder and president of Contractor Staffing Source. And when he called me and we spent 30 minutes together, I said, this is something that more people need to know about. My contractors, my platform, my people, I know they don't know about this. You guys have heard of disc profiles and things like that. Paul has taken the recruiting and hiring business to an entirely different stratosphere. So please welcome him. If you're joining us live, please put live in the comments, pay the fee, pretty please. And if you're watching on replay, play replay. Paul, the floor is yours. Take 60 seconds and just kind of give us some of your background. This gentleman's been around the trades for a minute.
A long time. Well, I've been actually coaching contractors for, I hate to say it, 50 years. Long time. I've literally worked with thousands of contractors over that time. And about 3 years ago, I could build a company from like 2 to 10 million. I probably did it 100 times. The problem was they couldn't find the people. And so my first idea was, well, I'll just find really cool software and assessments and give it to my clients. I did that and they totally screwed it up. Didn't have the time. Right? Did not work. So I put a guy in my garage and I said, okay, we're going to do this on a monthly fee to help my clients recruit. That was 3 years ago. We now run over 400 ads any day. We have 4 positions open. We go to 2,000 to 3,000 resumes a week. We've literally gone through, I think, 200,000 resumes since we started. We've hired over 1,000 people. And I think we're now the largest residential construction recruiting company in the country.
Wow. Cheers to that, man. Congratulations.
And I tell you, it's now we're down. The interesting because I try to get people to recruit all the time, right, Gene? Right. So I finally figured out how to do it. Money. I tried to talk him into it. I waved pom-poms. I said, guys, you got to recruit all the time. So we changed our fee structure. If you do it monthly, it's $3,000 a month, right? But for all the people you want. But if you do it annually, it's $1,200 a month. So we're
I'm so glad you got that out up front.
But we get all the people you need, right? So it's all good. Now you can do it yourself. I'm going to show you, if you want to do it yourself today, what you need to do and tell you, I've learned the hard way. If you don't do this, it flat doesn't work.
Yep.
So there's some myths that get in the way, but if you want to do it yourself, I'm going to cover today how to do your own recruiting if you want to. And if you don't want to do it, we can use us, but I'll show you exactly what you need to do.
And we want you to participate here. These are going to be true or false questions. And whenever we put them up on the screen, I want you guys, pretty please, go down in the comments and put true or false to each one of these. And then we'll roll back through them after we list all 6 for you. Cool? So let's start with number 1. Recruiting myth number 1. True or false? Only recruit when you need somebody. True or false down in the comments. You only recruit when you need somebody. I know that's how most of us do it. Number 2, true or false? Employees are expensive. Is this a trick question? That's what I would be asking myself right now. Right? Number 3, what's number 3? True or false? We can do the recruiting ourselves. I owned a business. I did recruiting. Is that true?
How hard can it be, right?
Yeah, for sure. Number 4 is going to be recruit within the construction industry. You got to find people with experience, all right? That way you don't have to do any training. True or false? Next one. True or false? Hire fast and fire slow. I'm going to say it one more time. Hire fast, fire slow. Last one is going to be true or false. Recruiting is a project that ends. Recruiting is a project that ends. True or false? Down in the comments. You got to participate now. Come on. We're bringing you this information for free. Ain't costing you nothing but opening up your little TV in your pocket. So true or false? All right. So let's go back to number 1, and I'm going to hand the floor over to you, Paul.
Okay. Number 1, only recruit when you need someone. I've been with contractors for, God knows, 50 years, a long time, right? And what happens is they go, oh my God, I need a project manager, right? And they usually need it after they start the project. And so they do the warm body, like they put an ad in Indeed. I get somebody. I don't want to pay recruiting costs. I don't want to pay for people when I don't need them. So the minute I get that big project, that next project, then I'll recruit for somebody. Otherwise, it's just overhead. And I, who needs more overhead, right? Well, I will tell you, it's the biggest mistake contractors make, because if you only recruit when you need somebody, you usually hire the wrong person in general, because you've got to need somebody. You put an ad in Indeed, first warm buy shows up. I got to get this guy. And so only recruiting you need someone is not true. It's a big false. You should be recruiting all the time. There's only 2 things that really matter in construction after doing this a long time. The first one is you got to be marketing all the time, because you have to find really good clients. And you've got to recruiting all the time because you have to have really good employees. If you have great clients and you have great employees, this is an awesome industry. If you have not good clients and you have not good employees, this industry sucks because it's hard, really hard. So
I have a trivia question for the people out there. Those of you who have ever heard of or know Jim Abrams. Jim Abrams is pretty much a legend in this industry. And Jim Abrams used to say that you're supposed to do 3 things as a manager. You're supposed to hire, train, and recruit. Question, what percentage of your time, I want to see it in the comments, what percentage of your time do you believe as a GM of a company, and this varies, it could be $100 million company, it could be a different answer, right? But let's say a $7, $8, $9, $10 million company, what percentage of your time should be spent recruiting? Let me see it down in the comments. So back to you, Paul.
Okay. And the other thing is, most companies don't have a recruiting budget or a marketing budget. They're so small, and they almost pride themselves on the fact, I am so good, my marketing is doing a great job at answering the phone. And my recruiting is attracting great people because I'm such an awesome contractor that people are going to come and work for me. And those myths will get you broke.
Yeah.
Because the problem is it's getting harder and harder to find people. As an average, Gene, we go through 250 applications to find a guy or a woman. That's what it takes.
Wow.
So
wow. Who's got time for that? Who's got time? So what contractor out there's got time to do that? Unless you bring all of it in the house, and holy crap, that's a lot of work.
It's a hard. So that's a big myth. You should be recruiting all the time. If you don't get anything from this, just get that. Recruit all the time. If you do it yourself, that's fine. Hire somebody else to do it, but you're only as good as your team. I'll give you an example, Gene. What do you think is Elon Musk's real genius? What makes him one of the richest guys in the world?
I would say finding the right people and putting them in spots.
Yeah,
and giving
the ability
them autonomy
to build
do
an
things.
awesome team. Otherwise, he's just another smart guy.
Yeah.
So your ability to build a team will determine more than anything else your success in this industry.
True, man. Very, very true. In every single business.
Right.
So let's go to myth number 2 real quick. Myth number 2 was employees are expensive. Is that true or false?
Well, I'll say big false on that one. Now, Gene, have you ever known anybody that made any money in this industry by themselves?
No.
Right. The only way you make money is through employees. That's pretty much it, right? And so the more employees you have that are the right employees, the more money you make. They're the best investment you could possibly make. So employees are not expensive. They're an investment. And I say this, Gene. Think about it. All the employees you have working for you right now. If you're in this listening to this podcast, think about all the employees you have working for you, right? Now, the world's worst employee, Gene, is one who's not bad enough to fire or good enough to keep. They're purgatory. They're horrible, right? If they're really bad, boom, they're gone. If they're awesome, you keep them, right? It's the purgatory that kills an organization, right? So I want everybody listening to this podcast to think about this question. If you were going to restart your business tomorrow and everybody's fired, they're all gone, right? You're starting a new business, 3 blocks away, same business, don't non-compete, you're good. Who would you rehire? And my suggestion is anybody that you wouldn't rehire, you should fire.
Wow. That's strong. That is really strong.
Okay. So employees are not expensive. And the more employees you have, the more money you will make if they're the right employees, the more fun you will have, and the better life you'll have. So employees are the best investments you're ever going to make as a contractor.
I heard Grant Cardone once say that employees aren't expensive, that they're supposed to make you money, right?
Now, I will say there's one exception to that, Gene. And this is where we really earn our money in the recruiting business. There's nothing more expensive than the wrong employee.
Come on now.
I mean, they've done some statistics, and the wrong employee will cost you approximately 5 to 10 times his or her wages in losses.
Wow.
Now, I'll tell you why that is. First place, if you make a mistake in the construction, it can be very expensive, right? And the other thing is that the worst employee in the world is somebody who's bringing your organization down. I'm sure you've seen this happen, Gene, right? So you're desperate, you hire a guy, and then this person lies only occasionally, but if you only lie 10% of the time, you never know when they lie, when that is, right? And the other thing is they trash your organization, but not when you're around. And they only steal things like, nail guns, no big deal, right? Nobody's giving us a nail gun or whatever. So the problem is what happens to the general esteem and morale you're trying to build in your company. It lowers and lowers and lowers with the person you've hired who is setting new, not so good standards for your company.
Yeah, and other people, new recruits that come in after them are ending up learning from them.
Right, or the old guys, the guy been there a while. Okay, this guy doesn't show up 820 and nothing happens to him. I think I'll show 820. Or he only stole one nail gun. I need a nail gun too. Or he only trashes the boss once in a while. Times I don't like I'm either. I can trash the boss to clients. Why not, right? Kills an organization. All right.
Crabs in a bucket, man. Crabs in a bucket.
It's bad. So employees are not expensive unless you hire the wrong one, and that was really expensive.
How many of you hired the wrong employees? Just put
That's
me
really
down
bad.
in the comments. I need to put like 100 me's down in the comments. I've hired a lot of the wrong people for sure. And some people get onto people about turnover, but it's like the myth that's coming up here about slow to hire, fast to hire, slow to fire. We're going to figure that out here in just a minute. So what's the next myth? True or false? We can do the recruiting ourselves. We can, can't we, to a certain degree?
Not my recommendation. You can, all right. Now, do you do your own accounting, Gene?
No.
Now,
why in the hell?
I don't know if you can. Do you fix your own car if it's a sophisticated car?
No. Hell no.
Okay. Now, if you're a contractor, you'll tend to have a plumber, an electrician. You don't do that own stuff, right? So, people have learned to, you don't do your own taxes, right? So people have learned to hire a professional that does way better and cheaper than you're going to do it. But unfortunately, a lot of people think, oh, how hard is recruiting? You throw an ad in Indeed, you interview a couple of people, and you're good. You hire the best one that shows up, and you're good. That is the most important thing in your company is building your team, and yet you spend no resources on it, which just to me doesn't make any sense.
Man, I'm feeling you because I feel the same kind of thing in my industry sometimes. If you've got a marketing budget, but no sales training budget, does that actually make sense? Like it doesn't make any sense to me. And I can see, especially at $1,200 a month that you dropped earlier, if I could hire somebody for $1,200 a month to handle all that stuff for me, like that's less than $300 a week. It's probably like $260, $270 a week. Like that's a steal and a half to me.
Right. Because the thing is, we use a lot of offshore labor. You use a lot of AI. We can do for $1,200 what takes you thousands to do. And the normal recruiter actually charges a percentage of first year salary. I talked to somebody last week and he said, I hired one project manager. I paid more to hire him than I would pay you all year. That's the standard model, which is crazy, right? So,
Right.
But you can't, I'm going to tell you guys, you spend some money on recruiting. You don't have to do it yourself. Doesn't make any sense, because somebody that we can do better, faster, quicker, and we got way more technology than you do. It's just way better. And the thing is, if you do it yourself, again, what's the most important thing you've got? Your team, right? That is not, it's like chinching on your marketing budget or chinching on your training budget. It is not a good place to save money. Yet I will tell you, Gene,
if you think it's expensive to hire a good recruiter, try not hiring one.
Right. So I'll tell you, it's doing yourself is tough. And also, I've had a hard time. Contractors buying a truck, not so tough, right?
Yeah.
Paying for sales training, who needs it? I mean, it's crazy because contractors have been grown, right? I guess the industry selects people that have no patience and want everything done yesterday and think they can do everything themselves. And it just doesn't work that way. So spend time and resources and money on recruiting, because
Amen.
You're no better than your team, and spend time and money on marketing because you're no better than your clients.
When I ran Air Genie, my first HVAC company, I had help in the recruiting area. 100%. Could not do it myself. Did not have the time to do it. Even if you can spare some time to do it, can you really truly do it effectively? Do you have the science behind hiring, which is one of the things that Paul is going to show you, hopefully, or talk a little bit about.
We've hired over 1,000 people, Gene, and 95% of them last longer than a year.
Wow.
And so we get really good at it, but we've got the technology. It's like you can dig a ditch with a shovel, but I'd prefer a backhoe. And you can certainly, roof with a hammer, but I'd take a nail gun any day, right? So Technology is out there to help you, but the thing is, contractors don't even know what they don't know,
right?
Which is scary.
We talked about that earlier. Let's move on to the next myth. The next myth, true or false? Recruit only within the construction industry. True or false? Put it down in the comments, y'all. Paul, take it away.
Okay. This is a myth that will cost you money. All right. I just talked to a guy, new client. Well, they need 10 years experience in whatever, fabricating.
Oh.
They need 5 year experience. The thing is that is the good news and the bad news, because if somebody has 10 years experience, they've had 10 years to learn it the wrong way, at least not the way you do it, right?
Right.
So sometimes it's way better to train people than it is to hire people with experience. Now, I'll give you an example. During the pandemic, the construction went crazy. It's dying down now, but it went crazy, right? So we needed office managers, selection coordinators. I'll tell you, the best selection coordinators and office managers we ever hired were wedding planners. Now think about that, Gene. A wedding planner. You got a bunch of flaky industries, the band, the venue, the caterer, all those people, right? Now they have to show up at the right place at the right time. They have to do a great job. It's got to look good, and everybody's got to be happy. Doesn't sound like construction to you?
And they got to be able to handle complaints.
Absolutely, including bridesmaids, brides, and it's the perfect training. And the thing is, if you choose to be a wedding planner, you went there on purpose. It wasn't an accident. And also the good news, Gene, is the hospitality industry pay sucks. It's not good.
That's true.
So,
and they're used to working retail hours, which a lot of us have got to work, right? We work a lot of times when the customer's home. Right.
So the thing is, they make the perfect office manager or coordinator, selection coordinator, and they're way cheaper. And so, when you put your ads in, you can put construction experience preferred but not required. Because the minute you put it's required, you lose half of the good candidates.
Yep. Paul, I'll tell you, after I had 5 people in my first HVAC company that understood the industry, I pretty much only tried to hire from outside the industry. And I went to a lot of restaurants, nice restaurants, and I would find the people that provided me with the absolute best service. And I'd recruit those people away from those restaurants and put them in my HVAC company and show them how to make 3, 4, 5, 10 times more.
Well, I knew a guy that recruited at the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning because he
Yeah.
figured anybody that's going to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning before work and is working on themselves harder than the job and cares about their physical fitness is going to be a good sales
Wow.
guy.
That's a great idea. Really good idea. You just can't drag most owners out of bed by that time.
I'm telling you, it's a great place to recruit.
No, that's awesome. All right, what's the next myth? Go ahead and put it up, baby. True or false? Hire fast, fire slow. Put it down in the comments. Hire fast, fire slow. And give them the answer, Paul.
Okay. I'm sure everybody lied about their answer to this question. All right. Because everybody says, oh, no, I went. But I don't want to talk about what you think you should do. Talk about what you've actually done. Right.
Yeah, right.
Think about it. Because you hire fast because you wait too damn long and you don't recruit all the time. So you wait till you need the person to hire them. Like, oh my God, this guy just quit. You know, and also you're subject to, I call it raised by blackmail. I'm sure you've had this happen. Somebody comes in and go, you know, Gene, it's not me, it's my wife. You know, I'm making $10 an hour. I really need to make $12 an hour. And if you don't give me a raise, I'm going to have to leave.
She's going to make me leave.
She's going to make me leave, right? And the problem is that a lot of us fall. If you need the guy desperately, it's not a big project. You're going to say, okay, fine. Now, what does that say about your company? That means everybody else learns, oh, this is how we get a raise here, right? We just blackmail him and we can get more money. So it's a problem, all right? So when I say hire fast and fire slow, most people say, oh, no, I shouldn't do that. But they do. You look at your industry. You've been in it, Gene. How many people hire fast?
All of them.
Right.
Just about. The
because
99%,
they haven't got a bench,
1%.
man. You know, I can't think of a sports team that doesn't have a bench, but I can't think of a contractor that has one, right?
Ooh,
so what'll happen?
Come on now.
What happens is you don't hire people until you need them, and then you got to hire fast or you're screwed because you've got the project, you've got something coming up. It's really important. And so if it's not a culture fit, doesn't matter. They lie, cheat, and steal occasionally. Maybe it's okay. If their English is marginal, I don't really care. I mean, you make those decisions to hire fast, not because you probably agree, oh, I shouldn't do that, but you do. Because of your practices and you don't have a bench, you hire the warm body that you get on deed and walks in there, so you hire fast, right?
And then you put your hands together and you pray like hell.
Pray this person's going to work out. Now, this is where the fire slow comes in. The guy's on the job. Fire slow. This is where people think they should hire fast and fire slow. Fire slow comes in. He's not that bad. I mean, he usually shows up to work most of the time. He only lied to me 3 times. He only falsified his time card once or twice. And I did hear he was trashing the company, but there's probably a good reason. Oh, I did hear him making a pass at some wife of a client, but hey, you know, people do that, right? I mean, pick one, right? And so, you know, and you put up with this garbage. Why? Because you need the person.
This is really and I thought I was halfway decent at recruiting and stuff. This is getting me sick to my stomach, remembering going through some of this. I'm literally having a physical reaction right now.
Because there's, you know why people don't fire people? Gene, I'll tell you what, you do not want to go through the emotional pain of letting someone go. You'd rather, suffer for years than deal with, oh my God, I got a third person doesn't work here anymore. And I'm sure we've had those people. I'm sure you've had them, right, Gene? And you suffer. And and as a coach, I would always deal with that. There'd always be the guy, right, when you're coaching. Well, you should fire him. No, this year's good. Let's go back to the original rule. If you wouldn't rehire him, you should fire him. And the problem is he or she is killing your organization. So people fire slow because they don't have the guts to fire fast.
And I feel like they don't have anybody to replace. They end up feeling held hostage.
Right. So it's better to have a crappy employee than none at all. And that's not true. So
Paul,
because of your hiring practices, it's like we've all taken on those clients we shouldn't take on, right? We know in our gut, this is going to be a disaster. Why? Because we need the client.
Right.
And so because we haven't done our marketing, I mean, I use an example. If you're in the desert and you run out of water, it's not the desert's fault, right?
Yeah. Right.
And so if you've got a bad client, it's because your marketing isn't good. And you have to take if you got a bad employee, it's because your recruiting isn't good. It's always your fault.
Come on now. Preach, preacher. Seriously.
It's always
Man,
your-
it's Larry Wingett is one of my favorite. Well, he's the world's only irritational speaker. And he says, listen, if your kids suck, you suck. If your employees suck, you suck. If your sales suck, you suck.
Right.
And we got to take responsibility for it.
You know,
And that
you
can be
point
one of
your
the
finger,
hardest
there's
things to
one
do.
at you and three coming back at you, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
you
for
know,
sure.
it is your responsibility. So if you're hiring fast and firing slow, it's because you don't have good recruiting. If you're taking out bad clients, you have good marketing. It's always your fault.
Somebody put ouch down in the comments for me. Somebody put ouch down there. Okay. Was this I think this was our last myth, wasn't it?
No, there's one more after this.
One more. What is that one, Paul?
Okay. So we've all got those employees. I'm telling you, they'll kill your organization. You'll die sooner and you won't have a good life. It's very significant. We've all got those employees, right? That every time they walk in the room, they go, oh, he's back. Now, how many employees, I remember picking up the phone and go, oh my God, it's John, right? I mean, it's like sad when you pick up your phone and you're not excited about talking to the person, you got the wrong person.
Yeah. When you get that feeling right here in your gut.
Right, like, oh my God, it's John again. And you pick up the phone.
I've had that.
Wham, 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 wham. Oh, man. Okay. The last one, it ties in all the rest. All right. Okay. Answer this question.
What's the last bit?
Recruiting is a project that ends.
True or false? Put true or false down in the comment.
Okay. Now, this is another one they're going to lie in their answers, Gene. Everybody's going to say it's false, but the truth is they all do it. They're all lying on their answers because contractors think in terms of projects, right? They think it has a beginning. I start the project, whether it's an air conditioning unit or it's a house. They start the project, they do the project, and the project ends. You're done, right? So they have no patience. They believe in immediate gratification, and
you're just beating the hell out of the audience today, bro. Come on, somebody put word down in the comments.
Right,
Preaching here.
I have literally 100,000 hours of dealing with these guys. My life has been about these people, right?
Listen, contractors, we're a pain in the ass. I'll tell you that.
Well, the good news, they're great as human beings. They're really good people. They're not the most coachable people in the world because I've spent my life coaching contractors. The thing is, they think in terms of immediate gratification. They have no patience. Like I have a program, how to get all the clients you want. If you're a client, you meet with architects. Unfortunately, it takes a year and 6 meetings to get anything done. They don't do it. No patience. So marketing is the same kind of thing. I tried it for 2 weeks, no clients, I'm done. Right. So they have no patience. And
therefore no discipline.
No discipline. They think in terms of beginning and end. They think, oh, I got my project manager, I'm done. I will tell you the reason I changed my pricing structure in this company, we would go through getting and losing 20 clients a month. And why do we lose 20 clients a month? Always same reason, Gene. You guys are awesome. You found all my people in 3 months. I'm done. And I go, no. They didn't work. So I had to change the pricing structure. So you're just crazy to not do it for a year. That's only if they work. Because they think that at beginning and an end, and then they look at, oh, I'm paying you guys. I don't want to hire people. And again, they have such a short kind of, way of looking at things. Their time horizon is so small that, short of my time horizon, time horizons, like the longer your time horizon, bum has a day, a worker has a week, a good businessman has a month, and entrepreneurs should at least have a year or two, right? What they look at the world. So most contractors figure, oh, I got my project manager. I'm done. I'm going to start recruiting and save some money, right? Like, oh my God, I got a bunch of clients. Let's stop the marketing. My people can sell. Let's stop the sales training.
I've got a question for the owners out there. So if you're an owner out there, will you please tell me, have you done any math on what it costs to hire, train, and recruit, or hire, recruit, and train, recruit, hire, and train, however you want to say it, an employee? How much does it cost you to replace an employee? I would really like to see that down in the comments. Pretty please. And then while we're waiting for that answer, Paul, just a quick question. So if I were to sign up for the $1,200 a month thing, is there a limit on the number of people that I can put in my black book?
The no-brainer. I will recruit up to 5 positions in any company and you can have 10 HVAC and techs if you need it. Try 5 positions in any company. We'll run them through assessments. Well, in fact, if you got a couple minutes, I'll sort of do the best recruiting practices.
Oh, I'd love to talk about the assessments like in short form so that we don't bore everybody, right? We got to be like 3rd to 5th grade reading level on that shit.
Okay, the point is, I can tell you before you hire a person whether they work out or not. Between assessments, video of interviews, background checks, we have a 95% of people staying. Why is that? Because we go through all the things you should do and most of your listeners don't do to find the right person. And the problem is that's what it takes. If you don't use that technology, if you don't have assessments, video interviews, all the kind of thing it takes to find the right person, then you live with a 50% retention rate.
No, I've seen some of these assessments, and one of them is kind of like a DISC assessment, if you guys have ever heard of that. If you're hiring for salespeople, you're probably going to want to find somebody who's high in the D or high in the I.
I mean, we even have one that tells whether they're honest or not.
That's what I was going to say.
We can do it in every state except Massachusetts just passed a law that you can't test for honesty. Every other state,
in 49 states, we can test for honesty.
Right. In every other state, you can test for honesty. And so we can tell you if a person's honest, if they're intelligent. I can tell you everything you need to know about that person, even before you talk to them. The technology is out there. Again, I'm digging with a backhoe and you're using a shovel. Who in the heck's going to win? I'm going to do it cheaper and faster and better, and you're going to do it.
And I've seen this, guys. I've seen the back end, some of the back end of his software, and they literally, like, imagine that you were going to interview somebody, but imagine instead you created this list of questions and they had to do a video answering all of the questions. How much time would that really save you? Like, it's absolutely awesome what Paul and his team are doing right now. You guys really, and by the way, if you guys are, you already have heard enough and you want to at least get, a demo or a presentation, or you want to find out more, down below, put, I need help. Just put,
because,
or I want
I'll
help.
tell you what I'll do for your listeners. A couple of things I'll do just for the heck of it. If they just use our services, I'll give them $500 off just to start, just because I want people to call. All right. Just because they're listening to this podcast. All right. But at the same time, I'll show you how to do it yourself. I'll be happy. I'll spend an hour on the phone with you. I'll tell you what assessments to use, what applicant tracking system to use. I will tell you if you want to do it yourself, exactly everything you need to do. It's easier now. ChatGPT. You can write your own job descriptions. You can write lots of stuff. We use a lot of AI, doing all kinds of things because it helps a lot. And that's why we can by using offshore labor and AI, I can do it 10 times cheaper than you can do it and better.
So guys, if you're interested in potentially taking a look at this or you want to do it, just in the comments, put 500 off, 500 OFF. If you put that, we'll know to reach out to you or have Paul's team reach out to you and set up a conversation for you guys to look at what, everything that they're doing. But just between me and you guys, like, I can't think of anything better to spend money on inside of a business other than finding the talent that we need in order to level up and take ourselves. You can't grow and scale a business without finding the right people. And the technology that they're using is so far further advanced than what I could do in trying to hire and recruit and train. I can train them, but I am a shitty recruiter. I'm a horrible interviewer. I'm just, it's not something I was gifted with. And if you're anything like me, I would highly, highly suggest that you take a few minutes with Paul and his team. So just put 500 off down in the comments. So
when you think about it, we have to go through 250 resumes on the average to find one person. We go through 2,000 to 3,000 resumes a week. It's crazy. I got people in all countries in the world doing this kind of stuff. And AI,
ain't nobody got time for that.
It's credible. That's what it's going to take. So either dedicate a person to 2 to 3 hours a week to do this, or hire somebody else to do it, because you're only as good as your team. And I can't emphasize that enough. And if there's anybody you would now not rehire, you should just fire them and find somebody else. So I feel like we have a solution on how to solve your hiring problem, or you can do it your own, but at least do it right.
So, guys, we're going to give you several tips real quick before we let you go, and you're going to want to write these down, okay? Paul's got some really, really great tips for you on hiring and how to do it yourself if you want to. So let's go with number one, Paul.
Okay, one is the art of writing a good job ad, okay? You can use ChatGPT. It's way better than it used to be. Just going to ChatGPT and I need a HVAC tech in, Bodunk, Tennessee. It'll write the ad for you. Okay. So use ChatGPT, but make sure you write a good job ad. If you don't write a good job ad, nothing else is going to work. And you probably suck at it. I guarantee AI will do it better than you. Next, where to post the ads? Everywhere. We post them on 100 job boards, plus LinkedIn, plus Facebook. We search today. We have a database of 25,000. We know our own. We do everything to find these people. One ad in Indeed does not cut it. You need to put all the job boards, LinkedIn, Facebook. You need to put it everywhere. Put it on Home Depot. Put it everywhere you can, because if you don't post it everywhere, you will not get all the good candidates. Second, this is a third. Respond in hours, not days. We try to get back to people in 30 minutes. I'll give you. We hired 200 carpenters for a framing contractor, and he did 1,000 employees. We literally got back to people in 30 seconds. Everything was in Spanish. They had answered an ad in Facebook in Spanish. We get back to them in 30 seconds. Everything was in Spanish. Did nothing in English. Everything was in Spanish. It was all done immediately. Because when somebody presses that button, if you don't get back to them, you lose. It's just like sales.
Yeah. Do you think they stop with you, or do they keep dialing other contractors and other people they find online?
Right. So respond in minutes or hours. Don't put an ad in and get back a week later. Next, please use assessments. There's DISC assessments. There's a bunch of tools out there. I think we got the best. Doesn't matter. Use assessments. It's like the backhoe guys. Don't use a shovel. There's a lot. There's DISC profiles. There's a Kobe. There's a lot of profiles. Get assessments so you know what's going on. It's really important. Next, use video interviews. The reason we use video interviews, and we do them because they can do them in real time, and everything we can't find out on the assessment, like are they in good shape? Are they the right age? We cannot tell on an assessment, but in a video interview, do they speak English well? Everything you want to know that you can't find out in an assessment, you can find out in a video interview. So do video interviews, okay?
This is a game changer. I hope you guys jump on top of this right now.
Okay, next one. Use reference checks. We automate it. You should use reference checks because that's just basic good recruiting. Always check references. Next, do background checks. You do background checks on everybody. I actually had a client got embezzled by their bookkeeper, right? So they hired another bookkeeper. The other bookkeeper embezzled them. And then went to the DA and tried to prosecute her. And the DA said, didn't you realize that your new bookkeeper got fired for embezzlement on her last job?
Wow.
So do background checks. These are the basics, guys. Just do all this stuff. And it's easier than it has been. If you have to do it yourself, at least follow all these steps and do a good job.
Man, I can't tell you how many times I've heard of my friends or contractors getting embezzled from the people that are running the financial part of their company. It's really, really scary that you could work that hard and then wake up one day and realize that $250,000 or $1 million is gone. Right. And just quick tip, don't ever give anybody else permission to sign your checks if they're not a signer on the bank account, because I had a guy that got screwed out of $250,000 that way, and he couldn't get it back because one time he'd given the person authorization to sign a check on his behalf.
I just had a person got today. Another thing, AI is they're getting really smart. What happens is somebody will start tracking all your email that you don't know it. They put it in. So they hear all your conversations. They will send an email supposedly from your bank to your bookkeeping department. It just happened yesterday to a client of mine. And they'll say, can you change the account number on the Chase account by these 2 digits? And it looks like it's coming from the contractor, the subcontractor paying, because they've been communicating. They say, no problem. It's Chase Bank. I'll change it by 2 digits. Boom, $100,000 gone. You'll never get it back.
Wow. Crazy. Absolutely crazy, man. Guys, if you are watching this live, will you please put live down in the comments? If you're watching it on a replay, put replay down in the comments. Paul, how do you want to wrap this thing up, man?
Well, I want to say, to me, it's really important that you ask yourself the question, is there anybody that wouldn't rehire? And how much time and energy do you spend in recruiting and marketing? You have a budget for recruiting. You'll buy a truck. You'll buy stuff, right? They're really good at buying stuff. But they won't invest in themselves, right? They'll buy a ticket to the gym, but they won't go, right? So invest in yourself and your company and make recruiting a priority. Spend the resources you need to build an outstanding team. There's no better return on your investment.
Guys, if you don't do that now, I can promise you that over the next 6 to 24 months, you're going to wish that you had. I don't want you guys, especially those of you that have got companies, let's say that you're a $2 million company or less. I don't want you to end up failing over the next several years. And it's paramount to invest into these types of things for your business. Great employees don't cost you anything. They make you money.
Absolutely.
Paul, any closing thoughts, man?
Well, Gene, I believe one of the things I remember is you can stay in business as long as you can afford to pay for your mistakes.
Yep, that's true. 100% true. I always used to say that when you're getting into business, you better be a really, really good salesperson, because if you're good at sales, you can make a bunch of mistakes and you can survive, right?
Absolutely. I'm telling you, invest in yourself and invest in your company. Build a great team, because your life will be much better. It's not expensive. I'm telling you guys, the best money you'll ever spend is investing in your team and in your clients to make sure you've got awesome clients and awesome employees. And it's an amazing business to be in if you can do those.
I agree 100%, man. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Please share this stream with somebody that needs it, or tag somebody down in the comments that you know could benefit from this. We take a lot of time and energy and a lot of pride in bringing you solutions for your company that are going to take you to those next levels. So remember, put 500 off down in the comments. I saw some of those coming through. If you want to have a conversation with my man Paul here, and he'll give you $500 off that first month. All right, guys, I highly, highly recommend that you look into doing this. Until next time, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on the next round. Thanks a lot, Paul.
I really appreciate being here.
My pleasure, man. We'll talk with you soon. We'll have you back on maybe in a couple more months.
Thank you.
My pleasure. See you guys.